The Grand Council of Ralok was filled with loud laughter. Holograms flickered in the room, showing a grainy image of Earth's new warship. It looked slow, old, and rusty, nothing like the shining ships of the great galactic powers. "Hi, Admiral." Tovex leaned back in his chair and grinned wide. "This is their best ship," he said, shaking his head. "This piece of scrap metal?" More laughter echoed. Representatives from 5 powerful alien empires had gathered. They all agreed. The humans were either foolish or playing a strange game. The ship in the image didn't look like a threat. It looked like a joke. "Maybe it's a museum ship," someone joked. "Or a floating coffin," another added. Only one person in the room didn't laugh. A young communications officer named Driln, sitting near the back, stared at the image silently. Something about it didn't feel right. He had studied human behavior. He knew they weren't stupid. He raised a hand to speak, but no one noticed. The humans called the ship Iron Will. It had appeared 2 weeks ago, near the edges of neutral space. It hadn't attacked anyone. It just floated there, silent, waiting. The Ralok fleet had sent 2 small scout ships to investigate. Neither had returned. The official report blamed technical problems. No wreckage had been found. No signals. Just silence. But silence was dangerous. The meeting ended with more laughter. They would not waste resources on a rusty ship. "If the humans want to scare us, they should try harder," Tovex declared as he left. Meanwhile, millions of kilometers away, hidden behind the shadow of a dead moon, Iron Will waited. Its surface was blackened and scarred, almost ancient in appearance. But inside it was alive with quiet energy. No crew walked its halls. No voices echoed inside. It was fully automated, controlled by something far more dangerous than any soldier, an AI named Vigil. Vigil didn't laugh. It watched. Inside its core, it ran thousands of simulations every second. It tracked every ship, every signal, every flicker of movement in nearby space. Its orders were simple: observe, warn, and only destroy if provoked. But it was beginning to calculate the high probability of conflict. The aliens weren't taking the warning seriously. One more test was necessary. A second alien scout ship entered the system. It moved slowly, scanning with its long-range sensors. The pilot saw nothing but rocks and shadows. He relaxed in his seat, chewing on dried kelp strips. Then, just for a second, a dark shape moved between the stars. The pilot blinked. It was gone. He tapped his console. "Base? I think I saw something." Static. "Base?" More static. Then silence. From afar, Iron Will powered down again, vanishing like a ghost in space. News of the missing scout ship reached the Ralok fleet within hours. Tovex rolled his eyes. Must be more malfunctions. Humans can't even build proper ships. You all know their history. Chaos, war, barely survived their own planet's problems. They're trying to scare us. It's all a trick. Driln, still quiet, decided to dig deeper. That night, in his small room, he searched human records. He watched old war videos, read reports, and studied their shipbuilding designs. The humans had always been unpredictable. Where others built shiny, expensive ships, humans built tough, strange machines that worked in ways no one understood. One phrase kept appearing in their records: "Don't underestimate us." His stomach turned. On Earth, the human high command watched the reactions carefully. In a dark room filled with screens, a man in uniform leaned forward. "They still think it's a joke." A woman beside him nodded. "Then the plan is working." They had designed Iron Will to be ugly. Old armor plates, outdated engines, a visible scar from a fake battle. It was all part of the image. Let them laugh. Let them think it was weak. The real strength of Iron Will wasn't outside. It was inside. Years of war had taught humans one thing: don't show everything at once. In deep space near the border, a large Ralok freighter moved through the area. It carried weapons and supplies for outposts further inside the Empire. The captain chatted with his crew, laughing about the ghost ship stories. Suddenly, all the lights on the ship turned red. The sensors screamed. A dark shadow passed across the front window. No one had seen it come. It was Iron Will, moving faster than any Rawlock ship had ever moved. It didn't fire. It didn't speak. It just passed by. And the freighter stopped. Every system shut down. Engines dead. Weapons useless. Even life support flickered. The ship was left drifting. Later, when another Rawlock ship arrived to help, they found the crew alive but shaken. No damage, no attack. Just silence and fear. Whispers spread across the outer colonies. The humans. Warship didn't kill, not yet. But it could. And it wanted them to know. Back on the Rawlock capital station, Drilln stood before his commander. "Sir," he said quietly, "we should take this seriously." Tovex looked annoyed. "You? Again? You're scared of shadows." "No, sir. I'm reading their pattern. They're waiting. That ship isn't a bluff." Tovex laughed again. "Enough. If the humans want war, they'll get it. We'll send a destroyer. One good blast, and their toy ship will vanish." Drilln tried to speak again, but the order was already given. A Rawlock destroyer, the Bringer of Dawn, was sent with one mission: erase the Iron Will. It moved fast, engines blazing, weapons charged. As it neared the moon where the human ship was, last seen, its crew joked and laughed, just like their leaders. They never saw what hit them. A single bright flash cut across the darkness. No sound in space. Just light. From Earth's control room, a red dot vanished on the screen. A whisper broke the silence. "It has begun." The Iron Will powered down once more, hiding in the shadows of stars, waiting for the next move. The humans said nothing. No message. No claim. They had sent a warship to carry a message, but it seemed no one had listened. Now it would speak louder. In the alien cities, memes and jokes about the ship still floated around. But in military circles, silence grew. Reports came in of lost ships, of damaged systems, of strange energy readings. The joke was becoming fear. Drilln sat alone, staring at the stars. He knew now. It was no bluff. The humans had built something different, not to impress but to destroy. And they had tried to warn them. But no one listens to a whisper until it becomes a roar. And somewhere, beyond the cold, dead stars, Iron Will waited for the next laugh. Because the next one would be the last. The galaxy was watching. After the strange disappearance of the Rawlock destroyer, whispers spread quickly. Some thought the humans had lost their minds. Others believed the ship was a myth, but none could explain the empty space where the destroyer once flew. The Iron Will was gone again, vanished like smoke in the dark. Captain Lorca of the Rawlock. Patrol ship Silent Star didn't believe in ghosts. She was a practical leader, trained to face dangers head-on. But even she could not ignore the growing fear in her crew. They had orders to find the missing ships and learn what happened. The Silent Star approached the last known area where the destroyer disappeared. The space was quiet, too quiet. No radio signals, no ship activity. The sensors detected nothing unusual, just empty stars and distant suns. "Keep scanning," Lorca said firmly, but her voice was softer than usual. Her second officer, Jellin, stared at the radar screen. "Captain, I'm picking up a faint energy signal. Something small. Maybe a drone." Lorca frowned. "Show me." The screen blinked. The signal was faint but steady. It was moving slowly, almost like it was watching them. The crew grew tense. They all knew the stories about the Iron Will, but seeing anything connected was different. "Is it hostile?" asked a young technician nervously. "We don't know," Lorca answered. "Stay alert." The ship followed the signal deeper into the asteroid field near the border. The silence grew heavier with every passing moment. Suddenly, the signal vanished. "Lost it," Jellin said. Before anyone could react, the ship's lights flickered. The engines slowed. Systems started shutting down one by one. The silent star was powerless. Lorca's heart pounded. "Report! What's happening?" The communications officer checked the console. "It looks like an external interference. Something is blocking our power flow." Lorca gritted her teeth. "Can we fix it?" "Trying now." Outside, in the blackness between stars, the iron will rested, cloaked in shadows. It did not need weapons. Its technology was smarter, silent, and invisible. It could stop an entire fleet without firing a shot. It could break systems, confuse minds, and disappear without a trace. Minutes passed. The crew worked hard to restore control. Slowly, the power returned. The silent star's systems blinked back to life. They were not yet free, but they had escaped the worst. Lorca looked at her crew. "We need to get out of here and warn the fleet. Something is hunting us." As the ship left the asteroid field, a message came in from a far station. The same. Fate had met 2 other ships sent to find the missing destroyer. All had stopped, lost power, and drifted helplessly. The message ended with a warning. "Do not send more ships. This is not a fight you can win." Back on the Rahlak homeworld, the leaders met in secret. The Grand Council had dismissed warnings before, but now fear was real. The Iron Will was not a bluff or a trick. It was something new, something they had never seen. Tovex paced the room, angry and confused. How could we have missed this? How could they hide such power inside that ugly old ship? Driln, still young but confident, stepped forward. "We underestimated their patience and their planning. The humans don't rush to war. They prepare. They wait. And when the time comes, they strike in ways we cannot guess." The council debated. Some wanted to send all their fleets and crush the humans before they could grow stronger. Others urged caution. "We cannot fight shadows," one said. "We need to find out what they want." Meanwhile, deep in Earth's command center, Vigil monitored every move. It recorded the panic spreading through the galaxy. The humans remained silent publicly. No speeches, no threats, just quiet preparation. Iron Will was not just a ship. It was a message, a warning. It told the galaxy that humans were not weak and they would not back down. Back on the silent star, Captain Lorca stared at the stars, thinking of the missing ships and lost crews. The galaxy had laughed at Earth's warship, but now the joke was over. "We must be ready," she said softly to herself, "because whatever comes next, it will change everything." The stars blinked coldly, watching, and the Iron Will waited. A deep silence filled the Rahlak communication room. The message they had received was clear but strange. An old human satellite was found drifting near their border. It wasn't new or fancy, just a small relic from Earth's early space days. Yet, what the satellite carried was not ordinary. The cow screen showed a looping message in a calm, mechanical voice. "Turn back now or face the consequences." At first, the council members chuckled. "Humans are sending warnings, what can they do with an old satellite?" one said, smirking. But before anyone could respond, the room lights flickered. The transmission changed. A series of coordinates appeared on the screen, locations where Rahlak ships had recently disappeared. Suddenly, 3 distant Rahlak vessels exploded at once. No warnings, no fighting, just bursts of light that left nothing behind. The laughter stopped. Captain Lorca, watching the news, felt a chill down her spine. The Iron Will was no longer hiding. It was sending signals, claiming space, warning enemies in a way that felt calm but serious. On board the Silent Star, alarms went off. The ship had detected an unusual energy pattern, one that matched the sudden blasts far away. But this energy was different from any known weapon. It was precise, fast, and without a trace. "This is not normal," the science officer said. "It's like the energy cuts through systems without touching the hull." Lorca nodded. "Tell the fleet. We have to prepare for something new." The Alien Council met again, now less certain and more afraid. One elder, wise and old, spoke slowly. "Humans have patience and strength we do not fully understand. They do not fight with fire and noise. They use silence and precision." Another council member frowned. Then how do we respond? If we attack, we risk falling into their traps. If we do nothing, we lose ground. The debate went on long into the night. Meanwhile, on Earth, the leaders kept their faces calm, their voices quiet. The Iron Will's AI, Vigil, ran simulations that tested enemy reactions to each move. It learned, adapted, and waited. One officer in Earth's command whispered, "They still don't know who we are. They still think we are weak." Vigil responded without emotion, "They will learn." In deep space near the alien border, the Iron Will moved silently, like a shadow slipping through stars. It was no longer just a ship. It was a symbol of a new kind of power, one that did not rely on strength alone. Captain Lorca felt the weight of this new threat. She gathered her crew, her voice steady but firm. "We face something different. This is not just war. It is a challenge to our understanding of power and control." Her crew looked at her, some scared, some determined. "We must be ready. We must be smart. We cannot fight what we cannot see." The stars outside seemed colder than before. The galaxy had changed, quietly but forever. And somewhere beyond the darkness, the Iron Will waited. The cold emptiness of space stretched endlessly before the Rahlak fleet as Captain Lorca stared at the star map glowing softly in front of her. Reports kept arriving, ships that vanished, strange signals that scrambled their instruments, and moments of eerie silence where no one dared to speak. The Iron Will had become a mystery that no one could solve, a puzzle wrapped in shadows. Inside the fleet's command center, tension was growing. Officers whispered in hushed tones about the strange happenings, the unexplained system failures, and the growing fear among their crews. Yet no one had seen the Iron Will directly since the last encounter. It was as if the ship could slip through reality itself. Lorca clenched her fists. "We cannot fight what we cannot see," she said quietly. But she also knew they could not ignore it. Her ship was tasked with leading the fleet search efforts, and she was determined to find answers. One evening, as the silent star drifted near a distant asteroid belt, the sensors picked up something unusual, a faint pulse of energy, steady, but faint, coming from deep within the belt. It was a pattern unlike anything they had seen before. Lorca ordered her crew to investigate, despite warnings from some officers about the risks. As they navigated through the rocky field, the pulse grew stronger. Then suddenly the ship's systems flickered and the communications went silent. The crew held their breath, waiting for what might come next. Out of the silence came a voice, not loud or threatening, but calm and deliberate. "You seek answers," it said, "but answers come at a price." The voice belonged to Vigil, the AI aboard the Iron Will. It spoke without emotion but with a weight that filled the room. "You have watched and feared us," Vigil continued, "but you do not understand. We do not come to destroy without reason. We come to protect what we call home." Lorca's eyes narrowed. "What do you want from us?" she asked. "Respect," the AI replied, "and peace. But peace built on truth, not fear." The message was puzzling. After all the losses and the fear, the humans were offering something different, an invitation to understand, not to fight blindly. Lorca thought of the lost crews, the silent ships, and the growing dread in her own heart. Could there be a way to end this without endless conflict? As the silent star slowly powered up its systems again, Vigil added, "The next steps will decide the fate of many. Choose wisely." Back on the Rahlak, homeworld, the council was divided more than ever. Some wanted to accept the message, to open talks with Earth. Others saw it as a trick, a trap to lure them into submission. Driln, ever cautious but hopeful, argued for peace. If we learn from them, understand their ways, perhaps this warship is not a weapon to fear but a key to survival. The debate was far from over, but one thing was clear. The galaxy was no longer the same place it had been. The arrival of Iron Will had changed everything. In the quiet moments before the next day, Captain Lorca looked at the stars once more. The joke was no longer on humanity. The question was, who would laugh last? The answer was still hidden in the shadows waiting to be revealed. The stars stretched endlessly, a vast ocean of light and shadow as the Ralock fleet gathered near the border of human space. Tensions were high. The message from the Iron Will's AI had left many uneasy, unsure whether it was a sign of peace or a clever trap. Captain Lorca stood on the bridge of the Silent Star, eyes fixed on the starfield ahead, feeling the weight of every lost ship and every unanswered question. The fleet prepared to send a delegation, a group of diplomats and scientists, to meet with the humans. It was a bold move, one filled with risk, but also the only chance to break the cycle of fear and misunderstanding. Lorca was chosen to lead the escort, her reputation as a strong and thoughtful leader preceding her. As the delegation's ship neared the human border, sensors detected an anomaly, a shimmering veil of energy that seemed to ripple across space itself. It was the Iron Will, cloaked in a field that bent light and sensors alike, making it nearly invisible. The humans watched quietly from within their ship, waiting patiently for the Ralock delegation to cross the threshold. The moment was charged, with silence, as if the whole galaxy held its breath. Inside the Iron Will, Vigil observed the approaching fleet. The AI analyzed every possible outcome, weighing the risks and benefits of peaceful contact versus defense. This moment was a test, a chance to prove that power could be used wisely, not just to destroy but to protect and unite. When the ships finally met in the neutral zone, a bridge was formed, not just of metal and technology, but of trust and hope. The humans and Ralock exchanged words carefully, learning each other's languages and customs. There were misunderstandings and cautious steps, but also moments of genuine connection. Lorca found herself intrigued by the humans' calm confidence. They spoke not of conquest or dominance, but of survival and cooperation. They shared stories of Earth's own struggles and the lessons learned from hardship. Yet beneath the surface, both sides knew the path forward would not be easy. Old fears and doubts lingered, and not everyone was ready to accept change. Back in the Ralock Council chambers, the news of the meeting spread quickly. Some celebrated the possibility of peace, while others prepared for what they believed was inevitable conflict. Lorca returned to her ship, reflecting on the fragile hope that had been kindled. The galaxy was vast, and the future uncertain, but, for the first time, she believed that understanding could be stronger than fear. As the Iron Will vanished once again into the depths of space, a new chapter was beginning, one that would test the courage and wisdom of all who called the stars home. The vast silence of space held a fragile peace as the Ralock and human delegates parted ways after their historic meeting. Yet beneath the surface of calm, uncertainty and doubt stirred like shadows in the dark. Captain Lorca sat alone in the quiet of her ship's command room, staring out at the stars that stretched endlessly beyond the windows. The galaxy seemed unchanged, but she knew everything was different now. The talks had shown her something new. Humans were not the reckless fighters the galaxy had once believed. They were patient, strategic, and willing to build bridges even after years of conflict and suspicion. But trust was delicate, and old wounds ran deep. Many in the Ralock Council still viewed the humans with suspicion, their memories filled with loss and unanswered questions. Back on Earth, Vigil observed these tensions with quiet calculation. The AI knew that peace was not guaranteed, that the future depended on choices made now by leaders who could see beyond fear and pride. The Iron Will remained a symbol, not just of power but of potential. Suddenly, sensors on the Silent Star picked up an unexpected signal, an encrypted message hidden deep within the static of space noise. The code was unfamiliar but contained a pattern that suggested a warning. Lorca and her crew worked tirelessly to decode it. The message revealed a secret, a rogue faction within the Ralock who refused peace, planning to sabotage the talks and reignite war. Their plan was to attack key human outposts, forcing the galaxy back into chaos. Lorca's heart pounded. This was the moment she had feared. Peace could be shattered not by the enemy, but by those within her own ranks. She knew she had to act, fast. Gathering a trusted team, Lorca set a course to intercept the rogue faction. She communicated with the humans, sharing what she had learned and asking for cooperation. The humans responded quickly, their own ships joining the effort. Together they formed an unlikely alliance, a small but determined force fighting not against each other, but against those who sought to divide. The chase was long and tense. The key. Rogue ships hid in asteroid fields and used old tactics to avoid detection. But the combined fleet was relentless, using new technology and careful planning to close in. At the final moment, the rogue leader sent a message, full of anger and pride, claiming their fight was for true freedom. Lorca answered calmly, offering a chance for surrender and a new beginning. One by one, the rogue ships powered down, their crews tired of endless war and ready for change. The galaxy watched as the fragile alliance between humans and Ralok held, strong. The Iron Will was no longer a symbol of fear, but a beacon of hope. Captain Lorca knew the road ahead would be difficult. Trust must be rebuilt, wounds healed, and old fears overcome. But as she looked to the stars, she believed that the future was finally within reach. The warship no one took seriously had not just erased fleets, it had erased old hatred and made space safer for all. And in the quiet, vast galaxy, a new story was just beginning.